Hi folks, and welcome to Truck King. Today we're looking at this, the 2023 Toyota 4Runner 40th Anniversary Edition. And yes, the 4Runner has now been with us for 40 years. Now next year in 2025, we're getting a brand new 4Runner. So that really poses the question, is it worth buying this thing today? Well, that's what we're gonna look at right now. Powering the 4Runner is, well, the same powertrain it's had now for many years. This is a 4-liter naturally aspirated V6. It makes 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque, and that is sent through a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, the 4Runner you're looking at here today is the 40th Anniversary Edition, which means it's based on the SR5, but then it receives a whole host of upgrades, the majority of which you can already see. This package is all about celebrating its heritage and looking really nice. That's why you're getting those bronze wheels, the bronze badges, these really cool TRD race-inspired color theme with the yellow, orange, and red. You get the stripes down the side, which, I think look really nice. This is a black metallic 4Runner. You can get the package with 3 different colors. I think on black it looks sharp. It really lets that stripe stand out. But you know what? That's just what I think. Let me know what you think right now, just of the styling here on this 40th Anniversary Edition. The 4Runner is known to be a rugged utility vehicle, the kind of vehicle that you might take camping or hiking. So first of all, let me show you this feature. The glass does fully come down on your rear hatch here. This is handy for quickly accessing things or quickly dropping things into your rear end. And I always hear from dog owners, they like it so the puppies can stick their head out the window even when they're in the back. So opening up, you do get quite a bit of storage space here, which is nice. Now the 4Runner in SR5 trim can also be had with the 3rd row. Our model doesn't have it, but if you do need to squeeze some people in the back, you can. One thing we do have here though is a 400-watt 3-prong plug. Nice to have some real power at the back end of your 4Runner. And again, it kind of suggests what sort of adventure type vehicle this thing really is. Plus, every single 4Runner comes with a standard 2-inch hitch receiver, and this thing is good for 5,000 pounds of towing right across the lineup. Guys, check it out. I found a cool little Easter egg here on the 40th Anniversary Edition. All 5 generations of 4Runner right there on the bottom of your trunk lid. That's pretty cool. Now here we are driving this 40th Anniversary Edition 4Runner, and I know it's the 40th Anniversary Edition 4Runner because I get bronze stitching on the inside, on the shift knob, and around some of the seats. I also get unique headrests that have that 40th Anniversary logo embossed right into them. So there's a couple little things on the interior, plus a badge over there on the passenger side. A few small things inside to kind of remind me that I have a special package, but for the most part, this is just a regular old 4Runner, and I should stress the word old. The 4Runner now has been around for more than a decade as it exists here, and they've barely updated it, and it certainly does feel kind of old when you jump into this interior. There's a pretty small touchscreen, lots of physical knobs and buttons, just a little screen in front of the driver here that frankly just the graphics look kind of old and outdated on. So yes, you do get that sense when you start driving the 4Runner, and I think one of the things that feels the oldest is the 5-speed automatic, because the shifts here are very abrupt. The space between the gears is quite large, so it takes a while for you to really rev up, and then you get this big shift and you really physically feel it. So I think that's where the 4Runner shows its age. It's some of the interior appointments, and then in the powertrain, but especially in the transmission. So driving the 4Runner today, there's no doubt it does feel old. But is that a bad thing? Just because it's old doesn't make it bad. Let's flip it on its head and look at some of the advantages. First of all, this thing is absolutely tried and tested. This 4-liter V6 5-speed automatic combo, it's been in how many 4Runners and Tacomas now for many years. So there's no issue with reliability. Toyota has every possible issue ironed out of this powertrain, and there is something to be said for that. And now the other thing that really draws people to the 4Runner, and I think it's true, these things are built incredibly strong. Toyota has that reputation for reliability, and the 4Runner has a reputation for going off-road, being able to beat on it, and then it will still get you home. And that's also been my experience with the 4Runner. I've been off-road in many 4Runners, TRD Pros, TRD Off-Roads, all kinds of different trims, and every single time they've gotten through everything I needed them to get through, but they've never broken on me. The 4Runner is a very stout SUV, and I think that's still what draws people to it. So those are the reasons why you might still want one today in 2023. I mentioned off-roading, but you know what? One other reason you might want a 4Runner is just simply rough-roading. You can see me here just on some dirt roads and some sandy roads. Well, there was some whoops and there was some potholes in those roads, and I'll tell you that the suspension on a 4Runner, even this more basic SR5 model, will take care of you more so than the majority of SUVs and crossovers of this size. So if your intention is to go off-road or to even go down some rough, gnarly dirt roads, the 4Runner is a better choice than some of the other SUVs in this category. But now we have to discuss the upcoming 4Runner because it's right around the corner, and I'm really curious to see what Toyota does with the new model. First of all, we expect the new 4Runner as a 2025 model year, which means we should see it next year in 2024. Now, to be fair, we kind of expected it as a 2024, and we thought we'd see it this year. But then the Tacoma apparently got pushed back, which then pushed the 4Runner even further back. So we do know a decent amount about the new 4Runner, and based on sort of just what Toyota normally does, we can infer some things as well. So one of the things we know is that the 4Runner is also going to move onto the TNGA-F platform. That is the body-on-frame platform that is now going to support all of Toyota's trucks and full-size SUVs. So Sequoia, Tundra, Tacoma, 4Runner are all now going to be built on that same TNGA-F platform, along with Land Cruiser, Lexus GX, the list goes on. So all of those big vehicles are moving to the same platform, including 4Runner. Now, based on that information, we can look at the engines in both the Tacoma and in the Land Cruiser, and what do you know, it's the same engine. So we can kind of already make an educated guess and say the new 4Runner will likely be getting the 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder hybrid engine. Toyota calls it the iForce Max, and in those two products, this thing makes 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Now, the whole idea behind moving to a standardized platform is standardization, moving to one platform that can then grow longer or shorter to suit different needs. Well, when you do that, you also standardize your engine. So I would be very surprised if that wasn't the engine option in the 4Runner. Maybe we'll also get the turbocharged 4-cylinder without the hybrid setup. That's what we can get in the Tacoma. 4Runner could also be the same. And then, to be honest, I would also expect the 4Runner to get the 6-speed manual out of the Tacoma. I don't know that for sure, it's just a guess, but because the powertrains and the frames are now going to be the same, it should be simple for Toyota to bring the manual to the 4Runner, which is a pretty exciting prospect, getting a manual transmission 4Runner. So we kind of already know what the powertrain will be, and we sort of know what it's going to look like too, because we've seen all these new generation Toyota SUVs, and they all share some DNA. So you can see the Land Cruiser here, you can see the Lexus GX right here, you can see the new Toyota Tacoma right here. And then we don't know what the new 4Runner is going to look like, but I can even show you a rendering right here from one of my friends, David Chow, over at Automotive Press. That's another YouTube channel. And I think he's probably bang on with these renderings. So there's not too many secrets left with 4Runner. My biggest question with this model is, how is it going to coexist with the Land Cruiser? The new Land Cruiser basically looks like a 4Runner. I was curious as to what the size differences were, so I went and pulled the spec sheets and I did the comparison, and it turns out that the brand new Land Cruiser is still a little bit bigger than this 4Runner I'm in here today. It's about 4 inches longer, 8 or 9 inches wider, and then about 3 inches taller. So Land Cruiser is a bit bigger, but then if it has the same powertrain, how are they going to be different? So let me now take some guesses at what Toyota will do to differentiate 4Runner from Land Cruiser. The first answer is with the price. Land Cruiser is going to start around mid-50s in the United States. So 4Runner hopefully will then start mid-30s. Hopefully they can bring it down market and make this thing truly affordable. Next, powertrains. Yes, I already mentioned it's probably going to have the same turbocharged powertrain, but maybe, just maybe, Toyota will take the chance and go fully electric, or hey, maybe even 4Runner Prime. What about a plug-in hybrid in the 4Runner? Of all of these models, the 4Runner probably needs its fuel economy boosted the most, so allowing this thing to go hybrid, or plug-in hybrid, I should say, would be a huge boost for the 4Runner. So I hope they're going to leave the Land Cruiser the way we've already seen it, and then sort of use the 4Runner as a bit more of a test bed for some of these other powertrains, like a plug-in hybrid. And then when it comes to off-roading, I also believe the 4Runner will be positioned above the Land Cruiser. On the Land Cruiser launch, they talked more about overlanding, more about camping, a little bit less about sort of what we imagine as hardcore off-roading. So I think that's where Toyota's going to make the split in their mind. Land Cruiser, more of a lifestyle vehicle, more of a overlanding, spending time in it vehicle, whereas 4Runner, I think, will always be the top dog when it comes to real off-roading, and hopefully in the next generation, they also do some things to differentiate it there as well. So I do think these two products can coexist, 4Runner and Land Cruiser, but I also hope Toyota takes the chance to really push the 4Runner beyond what we've already seen, and much well beyond what it is today. With an eye towards the future, you guys have already heard everything I've said about turbocharged, hybrid, all-electric, plug-in hybrid, and I'm bringing that up because we basically know for a fact that the naturally aspirated V6 here is going away. The 5-speed automatic is going away. So I feel like I've been ending a couple videos recently this way, but if you want this setup as it exists, you better go buy one right now, because it's not going to come back in this package. And I do think if you want a vehicle that's tried and tested and really built well, you can't go wrong with this 4Runner. Now, when they switch over the generation, there's always a couple teething issues, right? So yeah, if you're looking for something that shouldn't have any problems, and a vehicle which, frankly, will probably end up being a future classic, the kind of vehicle that people are looking for, especially with this 40th anniversary package, you should go out and buy one of these right now. And if you do go to a Toyota dealership here in Canada, the price tag on this 40th anniversary edition is about $57,300. Well, folks, we have come to the end of this one. Now, like I said, if you want this 4Runner as you see it in this video, you better run out and get it today. Also, because this model is exclusive, only 400 of these are coming to Canada and 4,040 are going to the United States. So like I said, if you want one, go get it now. So that's it for this one. Of course, now I need to hear from you. Go into the comments, let me know what you think of this 4Runner and then of the upcoming 2025 4Runner. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit join to become a member of Truck King, and then come right back here to the channel to see what we're testing next. See ya.